Welcome to PD on the Go, the podcast that delivers bite-sized learning on communication, collaboration, and facilitation for busy teacher leaders. Tune in while you're in the car, on your lunch break, or making copies, and get ready to level up your leadership skills. My name is Hallie Case, and I'm here today with Mary Beth Anderson.
Hello.
And you're probably used to seeing our other two teammates, but today, Mary Beth and I are just going to chat with each other about something that can kind of happen throughout the entire year with teams, particularly on teams where there's strong voices at the table, which is that people, and I'm guilty of this, actually, I think this is both of us.
I was just thinking, I'm laughing about this because this is so us.
So basically, you have the perfect people talking to you today, because what we both can do and have done on teams in the past is someone shares an idea, and then we jump right in with a different idea, our own thinking. And when you're a teacher leader, that can shut down people and make them feel like their ideas aren't valued. And so today we're going to talk about an approach where you could balance a little bit more inquiry before you jump in to advocate for how you would approach something. So that's what we're thinking. So what comes up for you, Mary Beth, when we think about, what are those phrases where sometimes we just jump in too soon?
Yeah, I think usually I'll say, so I have an idea, because I'm sort of listening when someone's sharing their idea first, right? And I'm already starting to process 3 steps ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I can see it this way. And I'm eager because I'm engaged to share that idea. So it might sound something like, I like that idea and we could blah, blah, blah. So I try to sometimes build off an idea, or I will say another idea might be, and I sort of jump in. Mm-hmm. And that is just sort of advocating for my idea. And sometimes it's hard for me to see it in this other perspective. And because I know that about myself, and I think we talk about this a lot on our own team, that
we do.
We really try hard to wait, right? I think my first, when I first reflected and thought this about myself, my first tip was just to pause. Let some other voices get on and ideas get out on the table before sharing mine, because sometimes other perspectives are brought up that I hadn't even thought about because I'm going so fast in my own mind.
Yeah. So I think it's well-intentioned. It's I'm going to take that idea and run with it, or I see it differently, so I'm going to add another idea onto the table. But what it sounds like a little bit what you're saying is that instead of doing that, wait and pause and see if anyone else offers a different perspective. Mm-hmm. But I think, too, what you could do is after the pause, stay on the idea that was originally shared and ask questions about that. That's where the inquiry piece, I see it coming in there.
Right.
I kind of am doing it to you now. I probably should have been quiet.
It's let's stay
one good
curious.
Idea.
You got it, but here's what I really meant. So, yeah, it's just staying curious about an idea and really asking questions before dismissing it and still trying to get your idea.
Yeah. I could have said, tell me more about where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. Or, I think especially in education when we're talking about instruction, having it connected to data. So what are some things that you're hearing or seeing that led you to that idea? Or could you give us some examples? Because I'm trying to make sure that I have a clear picture of what you're explaining, and I think examples would help me understand where you're coming from. So just waiting, staying in the curiosity a little bit longer.
Yeah. Someone once told me that the minute you feel like you want to advocate, inquire one more time. So maybe I've asked a question. I was, used one of those stems. Can you give me some examples? And then they said it, and then I just still went back to my idea because I really wanted to advocate for that. Mm-hmm. I can remind myself, let's ask one more question, so that I'm really getting a clearer picture. And that person is also getting to think through their idea and how it might go with other perspectives on the table.
Yeah. And I like that. So you think you're done, ask one more question. Mm-hmm. And then I think at that point, there's sort of two avenues. One is that person shared enough that you can let go of your idea because maybe it persuaded you, or you think, well, that's not necessarily how I would approach it, and I'm open to trying new things. Right. So like, let's give that idea a go. Or you might shift into advocacy, and that would be STEMs where you would want to kind of ease into it of like, I'm kind of seeing it from a different viewpoint, and then share, that's when you can share your perspective is after you've exhausted. And connect it the same way you wanted them to. Share your examples in your advocacy. Explain why something's important to you and your feelings behind it, right? And that can be a way to then bring a new idea in where it doesn't seem like you're attacking or disregarding or deeming someone else's thoughts as unimportant.
Yeah, I really liked the way your tone of voice was when you said that too, and the inflection in your voice. Like, I see it a different way, or a different perspective could be. So it feels like you're still in this brainstorming process and not, no, this is another way to do it. Because sometimes when we advocate, the other person, their guard might go up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And so it's hard to really think through or puzzle through a solution to something when we feel defensive.
Well, and I think then you test it, right? Like, so you share your perspective and then you ask a question like, okay, so what am I missing? Or do you have different ways that you see it beyond what I've described? And it's not just, that's the end of the conversation, right? You bring it back to the other person to share, or to the team.
Yeah,
right?
It's like that poking holes, right? So it's like, here's this idea, let's poke holes in it. What am I missing? What could go awry? Let's like think about it that way.
Yeah.
And that when you're vulnerable to your own idea that way with people, then it might invite other people to do that when they share a perspective too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a lot about something we could offer our listeners with this. We have from one of our Compass courses, a handout called Balancing Inquiry and Advocacy, and it has like the sentence stems on there. Yep. So people might look that over, maybe keep it in their binder when they go to a meeting, or just to have some of that language, because I think that piece is so important and when trying something like this.
Yeah, that's the tool I was thinking of too. So we're going to add that to our teacher leadership site, and then provide the link in our Instagram account, which is at FCPS_PD. So if you visit that, the link in the bio will take you to that resource, as well as all of the other resources from our other podcast episodes. And so we hope that you give us a follow on Instagram, and we thank you so much for listening today. We'll talk to you next time for more PD on the Go.